few quick checkmates and tricks in chess. Don't use if you're very high rated, because the higher rated players know this stuff. So for white, there's a 3-move checkmate. It's pretty easy. It's a less known one. So pawn to e4, e5, bishop to c4, and then then they might respond with any sort of move. You can do that. It doesn't matter. If they do that move, it's kind of screwed, but let's just say they do this move, trying to get the pieces developed. You can then move your queen here. You could move it there, but then it could be easily attacked, and that's not very good. So they might respond with any move. Could be anything. Could be, as long as it doesn't protect this pawn or blocks this pawn from the queen. So once they make their move, I don't know, rook, there's mate in 1, and that's that. And that's mate in 1. The king can't take because the bishop can't block. There's no space in between. He can't run anywhere. Yeah, so that's a checkmate. Now for black. So this rarely ever happens, but white will go with this. You can go with the king's pawn, and they go like that, and just slide the queen over, and this checkmate in 2 moves, which is very, very, very easy. It's called fool's mate. It's very simple, but it rarely ever happens. It's very hard to get someone to fall for it. Next we have the wayward queen attack. This one a lot of people know how to deal with, so not very good to use, but e4, e5, queen to h5, and then now there's a little trap. If they fall for it, it's very, very good. They move their pawn forward like this. Now you might be thinking, oh look, my queen is in danger, I gotta retreat it back. Nope, you take the pawn and that's check. They have to block either with the queen. If they block with the queen and you take, that's a queen trait. They could do that, or they could use the horse. They could use the queen. It doesn't matter, any 3 of those pieces. But then you take the rook, and after that they might try defend with the king, so you can't really take that. Then you can just take a free pawn. They might do some random move. Might try to, do some move to get their knight out of there so it's safe. They might try to attack it, And then you can try retreat it out of there. After that, it's kind of up to, whatever. Just getting the queen out of there. It's not always the best, because developing your queen first is never really the best thing to do. But they can take the pawn, whatever. There's also mate in 1. That's a mate in 1 there, actually, because it's a back rank. Can't do anything to stop it. That's actually pretty good as well. Alright, on to the way you can defend against it. So let's go back a bunch of moves. Now you're on the opposite side of the board. White plays the wayward queen attack. And you don't fall for this. You don't fall for the trap that gets you obliterated like that. No. What can also happen is you try to protect this with the knight, but then they move their bishop over, and then you don't see that, and then next thing, checkmate. So you don't want to fall for that either, so it wouldn't be good to use the horse. With the pawn is also very good, yeah. Because if they can do that, but then they can kind of just block. You can take now their bishop is blocked, so it's not a checkmate anymore. They could try push this pawn forward, but you know, you could do something to attack their bishop now, and then their bishop would have really no choice, you know. So, well, they could even if they do this, you block. If that happens, you don't want to block with the bishop because then they can just take this pawn here, and then that get your rook. You want to probably block with the horse, and then if that happens, that takes. So that's why doing the horse or the queen is way better in that position. So that's why it's really good. The pawn is probably the best, but you could also go back a few moves. You could just still do that. They might bring the bishop over. You can still defend against that. You can do that move. That takes, take. It's just a clean trade, and then black is winning. So ultimately, it's pretty bad if you know how to defend against it. All right, on to the next little tip and trick. Now this one is a tiny little opening. It's not very tiny, but you know. So it starts with white. Horse out like that, and then pawn to e5 maybe. Anything. You could take that, but you don't need to take it. Pawn forward. By 1, they might develop. Doesn't matter. But then you can move your bishop here. And that's actually really good because you have this. And this is very well guarded because of this bishop. And this is actually very good for the position. And then you can, you know, you can develop. Well, I don't know. That's just an example. Like, just because that bishop's there doesn't mean, well, they probably wouldn't play that bishop move. There's not really much of a point to it. They probably might develop that. Pull out your knight, develop, you know, get your bishop active, you know, get it out into the battlefield, you know what I mean? It's pretty good opening for starting because it's a very easy way to castle and it's just very good protection for your king. Alright, on to the next thing. A very good tip is when you're playing chess, don't just bring your queen out first or your bishops. So, like, already you can see they might develop that. That's attacking your queen. You just move that. That's not a very good move. See, Stockfish already thinks that, you know, yeah, white's kind of losing on development. They could pull that out. And that's even worse now. Well, it's a little more out, but... And then pulling your bishops out before your knights are even worse. See? Even worse here. Developing your bishops after your knights is way better. So, then you develop it. Like, developing your knights straight after bishops and queens, it's not very good. Because knights, they need the nice spot for them to go to is right here, and when you develop other pieces, sometimes the knights can get pretty trapped in. And overall, it's just better to develop knights first out of anything. So, what really should have happened here is maybe that. They might have responded that to defend the pawn. They might try to defend their pawn if they try to do that move. As you can see, it's pretty equal here, you know. Because you both have their knights developed. Now they might get their bishops out. Actually, if this pawn, if instead of that being moved, if that pawn is moved, very good move is this. Pinning the knight to the king. Usually people would do that. If people do that, I usually just do that, and nice check, and then I take like that. And honestly, it's not too bad to do. It's just a trade for the bishop and the knight. That's a pretty good tip, putting pressure on that piece there. You know, pinning as well. Another way to break pins is by doing that. Or doing that. Or you can just move, which is not very good because then you can't castle. So, yeah, or you could just do a threat like that. Either retreat or they take, or they can go back and still keep it like that, which is kind of good, but not really. Because now you can do that, you know, and then that's pretty good. That, and then overall it's just pretty bad. It's like after that move, you know, castle, free pawn. Well, it's not really a free pawn, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just breaking the pin. So once this is done, there's literally no point on having your bishop here, because even if this, like, the point is that if the knight moves, there's no more pin. There's no more, king isn't in, it's like, usually it'd be an illegal move, but now it's not, because it's being blocked. So yeah, that's just a few tips and tricks. I'm going to end the video here. Bye!